Here is a flush ruby. This is what I'm going to be working with on this project. It is just a small part of a large bool. The first step is to drill the actual bool itself. This is done at 1,000 times speed using a centric drill bit and a drill press. But going through here, I unmount the ruby, and I had not gone all the way through because on my previous attempt, the ruby has cracked. The next step is to grind a millimeter off of the side so that I can get the peg hole out of the ruby. This is just done on a flat lap using my hands. Back and forth until eventually I am able to free the ruby from the rest of its surroundings. Let the ruby ring is free. The next part is to dop it onto a dop stick so that I can actually start working on the faceted design. I use this using UV resin, only 5 pegs, as putting too much resin on the inside can get in the small cracks and break the exterior shell of the ruby. This is the design I'll be doing today. It's a rectangular signet, just a simple ring shape with a rectangular square face on the top. Figure it's cute and will suit the size of this ring well. The first step here is preforming at 600 grit on a centered lap because there is not too much preform to do with the ring shape already cut. I can start on 600 and you can see there the ring shape already forming.
Oh, that's thin.
You'll see me doing something here where I'm using my thumbs to move back and forth. That is known as free quilling. I actually have the index gear free of any index so that I can rotate back and forth, and then you can see that smooth shape that starts to form from it. It's much more comfortable for people to wear. Looks quite nice, and it's fairly easy to polish. Here I'm just going to charge my polishing lap. This is a wood lap using 14,000K polish, WD-40, charge it with Diastick, use chunk of excess sapphire to just really flatten out the edges there. One fun thing with this design is that most of the design can be completed on one side, not having to redop it because it's only a small signet and the band is flat all the way around. There isn't a need to go back and forth between sides to get a perfect shape. Looking at the polish here, it's looking quite nice. There's a nasty crack in the bottom of the ring that I'll have to deal with, but the polishing is coming out pretty good. It is something that I can't complain about. The next step is to drop the ring in an acetone bath to free it from the UV resin. Now, I do this because I used to do heat, but heat will actually expand the brass more than what the ruby expands, and it will crack the ring as I've almost finished it, which you can imagine is quite annoying. So you'll notice that I only dot the outside of the ring as opposed to the inside this time. It's because we're not working on any 90-degree angles. Resin won't get in and gunk up my lap. As well, resin can get on the inside cracks of the ring and actually expand and break the ring when you're dopping again. And that's something I try to avoid, especially when making these thinner bands. You can see the signets start to come together here. A little bit thinner than the rendering of the drawing, but sometimes you just got to work with the size of the stone that you got. So this is how the shape up is going to end up. Polishing here going straight from 600 to 14,000. These are smaller faces, so it didn't take me as long to polish. You can imagine that it might be faster going from 600 to 3,000 grit than the polish, but if you're stubborn enough, sometimes you can just work your way through it. Here it is all polished up. All the faces are done. Now it'll just be trimming the outside portion, which I need to do. I could do the top right now, but I'm not going to do that because I know I'm going to have to trim extra on the bottom. And at the back, there's this small crack I need to take care of. At some point, that will fall out. I'm hoping that it will fall out during the next acetone bath, but I can't be certain, so I'm just going to throw it in the acetone and see what happens. And with the wonders of movie magic, the crack came out in the acetone, and I've already redopped it. So now all I need to do is grind the sides flush so that that crack is invisible and the band is thin, but workable, wearable, pretty, everything you want in a ring. I modified the design here so that it is flush on one side, 90 degrees, and has a 15-degree taper on the other end. This will remove the crack, still leave about 2 millimeters of bandwidth at the bottom end, and take a piece that could have been scrapped into something functional and beautiful. To get this 15-degree angle, I'm actually going to use my table adapter, usually used just for creating 90-degree angles, but on angles such as this and small pieces like this just makes it so that I don't break my entire ring when trying to get this angle. The tricky part with this is I got to make sure that the signet is completely 90 degrees facing the direct middle of the lap. Any small degree difference will make the 15-degree face grind unevenly. I moved straight from 600 to polish again because the sides are quite small. This was actually an error on my part because this took about 40 minutes to do, but live and learn. I got there eventually. Eagle-eyed viewers will be able to see that there's actually 90-degree chamfer at the top. The dop was just too small, and if I continued grinding, I would grind into the dop. So this is the smallest angle I could get. There are tiny chips in the bottom of this ring. I'll try to deal with those later. Just gonna fill it with UV resin and sand it down, but this is as good as this baby's gonna get. The other side, just because it's 179 degrees, and I believe I've grinded the face down at 600 grit, so I'm just gonna go ahead and polish freehand with my hand. This just takes a careful, steady hand to do, but and just large faces, especially the sapphire.
Halloween is good.
Here's the face done.
She's gonna get
Ugly line on the inside, and this is where the final step. Bring it back to the drill.
still one more step to do, which means
hard 90-degree edge going over the finger, and that it feels smooth.
Make sure it's wet before doing it.
First,
Reduces the chance
wet
of
the counters,
shipping.
and then I also wet the ring. Water barrier in the polish keeps dust down. Makes it so that it doesn't chip as badly into the ring as dry polish, and just makes the whole process much easier. Overall, I'm quite happy with this ring. It took me about 4 days to complete. I did cut down about 8 hours of video into this format. I did leave out a bunch of little problem-solving parts. If that's something you guys would like to see more of, or more long-form content, this video was looking at about 40 minutes before I got to this part. So if you'd like to see some of that, let me know. If you think this ring looks good, let me know. If you think it looks bad, let me know. As always, you can find all my stuff on my Etsy store, link in my description. Please like and subscribe if you like this, and if you don't like this, let me know what you don't like. I do want to make videos. I want to make them better. I want to make them good. I want you to like me, and I want to like you. Thanks. Have a good one.